We're just swimming in a sea of opinions and advice, right? Everywhere you look, someone is telling you what to think. So, how do you figure out what's actually true? Well, today we're going to crack open an ancient text for a surprisingly modern guide, a 3-part test from the Bible on how to spot a false prophet.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? We are just bombarded 24/7 with people telling us what to believe, how to live our lives, what's coming next, especially when it comes to faith. So how in the world do we sort through all of that noise to find the voices that are actually worth listening to?
The Bible really doesn't pull any punches here. This is a direct warning from Jesus himself. And that imagery is so powerful, isn't it? The danger isn't obvious. It's disguised in sheep's clothing. It looks gentle, it sounds appealing, it feels safe. And that's what makes it so important to pay attention.
But here's the really good news. It's not just a warning to be on guard. The same book that warns us about the problem also gives us the solution. It's like a practical 3-part toolkit for testing what we hear. So, you ready? Let's crack open this toolkit and see what's inside. All right, so here it is, the game plan. It's a simple 3-part test, and each one kind of builds on the one before it. First, you've got to look at their message. Then, you look at their life. And finally, if they make them, you check their predictions. It's a really clear, systematic way to think things through.
Okay, test number 1. And this one's the big one, really. It's the foundation for everything else. Before you even get into the person, you have to look at what they are actually saying. Does the message itself stand up?
So what are we looking for? Well, it all comes down to one word: consistency. According to the Bible, a true message is going to line up with the foundational truths that are already there. So a huge red flag pops up the moment a teacher starts adding new rules or taking away key ideas, or, just flat out contradicting the main story. It's all about protecting that core message.
And check this out. The Bible doesn't want you to just sit back and absorb everything you hear. This verse is a direct command to be active, to test the spirits. It's actually encouraging us to have this healthy, discerning mindset where we really examine what's being taught instead of just nodding along.
All right, so once we've checked out the message, we move on to test number 2, and this one shifts the focus from the words to the person's life. It asks a really simple question: does their walk match their talk? This is all about character.
And you've probably heard this quote before, right? By their fruit you will recognize them. It's famous for a reason. And fruit here is just a simple way of talking about the results, the conduct, the actual, tangible stuff that a person's life produces. Do their actions line up with the message they're preaching?
And look, these aren't some vague, mystical ideas. We're talking about real, observable stuff you can actually see. Do you see humility or arrogance? Integrity or hypocrisy? Do they seem to genuinely care about other people, or is there a pattern of exploitation? Financial transparency, that's a huge one. And at the end of the day, who gets the credit? Are they pointing to something bigger than themselves, or does it always seem to come back to them?
Okay, on to our third and final test. And this one is super specific. In a lot of ways, it's the most clear-cut, black-and-white test of them all. It's for anyone who claims to be speaking new, predictive words directly from God. So, we got to be really clear here. When the Bible talks about a prophet, it's not just talking about someone who's an inspiring teacher. This is about someone claiming to be a direct spokesperson for God, often telling you exactly what's going to happen in the future. The stakes for a claim like that are, as you can imagine, incredibly high. So this is the million-dollar question, right? What happens if someone stands up, says, "God told me this is going to happen," and crickets? It just doesn't come true. Is there like an acceptable margin for error? Can they get a few wrong? Well, the answer from Deuteronomy is a hard no. I mean, it's about as unambiguous as you can get. The bar is set at 100% accuracy, not 99, 100. If someone makes a prediction and it doesn't happen exactly as they said it would, the Bible's own standard says that word was not from God. It is a straight-up pass or fail.
All right, let's pull all these threads together. You've got these 3 tests: the message, the fruit, and the prophecy. The key is they're not meant to be used on their own. They're designed to work together as this comprehensive checklist for being careful and wise in who you listen to. So let's just do a quick recap. It's your prophet's checklist. First, you look at the message. Is it consistent with the core story? Then, you inspect the fruit. What's their character actually like? And finally, if they make a prediction, you check the prophecy. Did it come true? 100%. It's a really powerful, logical way to think it through. And this is so important to remember. The point of all this isn't to turn us into cynics, constantly suspicious of everyone. It's about developing wisdom. It's about being a careful, thoughtful guardian of your own beliefs because you value truth enough to protect it.
So I want to leave you with this thought. The world has changed, right? The voices aren't coming from ancient scrolls anymore. They're coming from our phones, from our screens. The prophets today might be called influencers or gurus or thought leaders, and their message is amplified by algorithms. So the question for us is, how do we take this ancient three-part toolkit and apply it to the world we navigate every single day? That's something we're thinking about.